entire Everglades agricultural area used to be the Everglades, i.e. its big sugar is the main culprit.
It has a lot of great important subject matter regarding Florida and the environment, marine life, the water, all of that. Some great interviews, awesome camera work. I feel like the cinematography was great, really beautiful shots. I was a little overwhelmed, and sometimes it was hard for me to figure out why something was happening when it was happening. For instance, the iguanas. I honestly wasn't sure why that was brought up when it was brought up, and or maybe it didn't even need to be in the documentary. I didn't really want to see the iguanas being shot, or the shot of the iguana with the blood. What I feel like this can benefit from is maybe breaking it into more of a series, an overall heading of maybe Florida's environment, and having the issues tackled in different episodes, because it would have been more organized for me and easier to follow. For instance, maybe having one episode specifically on how the Seminoles are being affected, another episode on the iguanas. I feel like there's a lot here in one documentary, and it's great. There's a lot of great, like I said, important subject matter, and I would really like to have seen it more broken down, where I can watch each episode separately and then maybe see how it all ties in together.
I thought this one was a great example of just fantastic documentary work. Delivers everything you hope and expect for in a documentary, identifies a problem, shows us what's being done to address it, what's caused the problem. We get a lot of feedback and statements from experts and other people involved. I'm a personal fan of Rufus. I thought he was just absolutely spot on. I really appreciated his energy, and just the fact that they could run into someone on the water. I believe Chris was his name, and find another person affected by it really shows you how widespread the problem is. So really, just a bang up job all around. Really means a lot to me that this one is out there. Can't stress that enough. More awareness needs to be made on an issue like this big, and any bit of media like this that can help to that end is vital. So hats off to the filmmakers. A lot of hard work, I'm sure, went into making this one, and it wasn't for nothing. Great job.
I thought this was really, really interesting, and I really liked different parts of how they framed this, because they took a really personal approach to it, I want to say. It wasn't just like, oh, let me talk to you about this problem, let me talk to you about how the climate is changing, how pollution is changing, how all these different factors are affecting this huge part of the state, that will have like this huge environmental impact on ecosystems and things like that. It didn't take such a strict like educational standpoint. It really went, at least like definitely introducing, but through each thing that they were talking about, through each different challenge and different kind of outlook, they really went with a really human, personal connection, where you were talking with people that lived there, that worked there, that had been the church that had been baptizing people there since they were, since the church was founded. Like, they really went with such a personal connection for each of these things that each of these topics that they were introducing and trying to talk about. And I think in doing that, as human beings, you automatically feel a little bit more bonded to what is being introduced, because you do see the human connection, you do see the human element. This isn't just like an abstract ecosystem that somebody living in California has no idea what an Everglade is. Like, I know what an Everglade is, but like I have no concept of living near one, the animals, the plants, everything that comes along with living near one. So instead of talking about like an abstract idea like that, you bring in people, you bring in their stories, their everyday interactions with it, and it helps viewers to be able to frame the problem better. And I think that they did a really good job of that because they continually brought in a human element. They continually made it personal. And I think when you're trying to deal with huge subjects like this, where there's so much going on, it's important to make it human. It's important to make it personal. It's important to make you care. And I thought they did that really, really well.
The strength of this film is also its weakness. It's very, very broad in scope, a bit too broad and sprawling to kind of hold on to its narrative. In other words, it kind of lost its narrative thread because it's just covering too many angles of this thing. I appreciated the fact that, you know, it delved into all these aspects, but it might have been a little bit better as far as filmmaking. If to focus it a little bit more, almost as if you're heading downstream. I know there's tributaries and deltas, but as a audience member, I found myself becoming disengaged at times because of just, well, what are they talking about now and why are they talking about that? The iguana killers and stuff like that. Interesting, but a little off subject. But overall, excellent.
This film really hit home for me because I'm from Florida. I was born there. I spent most of my adult life there. So it was really sad to see what's happening to the rivers and the waters of, you know, the Everglades and stuff like that. And, you know, that blue-green algae, what's happening with the manatees, that it just breaks my heart. It really, really does. What's happening with the big sugar plantations. That being said, I thought that this was not only really emotional, but it was really, really well done. I thought that the cinematography was absolutely beautiful. I think that the music that they chose, it complemented the film really nicely. I loved all of the interviews and listening to what everybody had to say and a lot of the really valid points that they were making too. So this was great. It was a great, great film.
So much information, so much I learned, so much I didn't know. It's remarkable. I'm so happy you made this movie. It's incredible. First of all, the writing is fantastic. The questions that are being answered are incredible. The people you have involved, that whole cast, that cast list in the credits, incredible. The music, the transitions, the shooting of it all, the cinematography was spectacular. The editing was wonderful. The direction was great. The storytelling was clear and disturbing and confusing at times, but in the right way. Like confusing in the way of like, oh my God, there's so much going on here. How does anyone even fix it or get clarification on what it is? It's amazing. This is an amazing film. So congratulations to everyone involved. You did an amazing job. And I'm so happy I got a chance to see this. It's incredible.
This is a very insightful documentary piece about the sugar industry activities and the repercussions on the natural balance of the region. The farming practices and the intimidation techniques from the sugar corporation, they call it Big Sugar, and it also integrates nice footage from different aspects of life in this region of Florida's wetlands, Everglades, swamps, and mangroves. They talk about farming, fishing, other activities like kayaking or native traditions that have been affected from the discharges and testimony of chemicals from this farming activity. The testimonials also offer throughout nice looking images from the suburban residential neighborhoods. It is just packed with lots of information. It was totally informative and interesting. I really want to know more about this, and I just thought that iguana busters are something I would not love to do. And yeah, it was quite educational. I I enjoyed it a lot.